Great. So first of all, thank you so much for having us today and to have accepted our paper. I'm William, and we are a group of students from a master degree at FGV in São Paulo. And our article is about how did the Brazilian government use big data analytics to social protect the citizens through what it was called the emergency aid. So first of all, this is the agenda for the next 15 minutes. And well, we're gonna cover the introduction, the context, information technology aspects, methodology, outcomes, and discussion, and finally the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. It's no news that the digital transformation has made several changes in our economy and in our world, and it implies on every company and everybody. But an unexpected accelerator of digital transformation was this virus, the coronavirus, that generated also social isolation and freezed the economy. So everybody started looking to use technology to solve those conditions. Um, and the social impact, also the economic impact, was immediate, especially on the low-income population. Um, on this presentation and on our paper, review how Dataprev, which is a social security technology and information company, a state company from Brazil, managed to put in place in only 14 days the emergency aid program, which was fundamental to prevent the impact from being even greater, the impact for the Brazilian population. It's relevant to highlight that Brazil has some very recognized state companies, institutions, such as Serpro, Receita Federal, Dataprev, and especially on this paper, we're covering Dataprev concern. They are known for having a very technical team, and they're agnostic in terms of the current government, just like we do in our research. So we bring this chart to give a context of when the emergency aid had in place. So we do not want to foment any insights or inferences over this chart, but just as matter of context. The emergency aid started in April 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic. Unfortunately, yesterday, Brazil reached 444,000 deaths. So following with the context, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, the global poverty is expected to have the highest growth since 1992. And Brazil, unfortunately, was one of the most impacted countries. And when by the date that this article was written, had caused the death of almost 200 people. Unfortunately, this moment, as I just said, it's double this number. But back then, the main action that Brazilian government took to minimize this social vulnerability and to protect the purchasing power of the population was through a change on our current social security laws to include people affected by the pandemic that had their income, they lost their income due to the pandemic, and then the government enacted this law to provide new sorts of assistance to the population. So we had this challenge. How could the Brazilian government make the income distribution policies effective and reach the most in need, considering its enormous population? So we consider three aspects here on this research. That it had to be fast. The government should deliver the money as soon as possible for those in need. People couldn't even eat and fill their basic needs. And also needed to be fair distribution. So to pay the only to those according to the approved policies. And finally, it had to be safe, to be trustable for the one that will receive the benefit, but also to prevent frauds. When it comes to IT aspects, the first thing was the scope. So it was decided that the way of access of the population to this benefit would be through a mobile app. So they came to the resolution that well, in Brazil, we have more mobile devices than people. So they realized that it would be the most effective way to distribute the minimum income. So regarding the requirements, this solution had to be resilient, scalable, had to have a high performance, as we're gonna see in on a few minutes, and very and a high availability. And finally, what the government had to create this to deliver this benefit was billions of data records around several institutions, government institutions, and the Dataprev company. So let's jump in on Dataprev. Dataprev is a Brazilian public company which the responsibility is to provide technical information and communication solutions for the implementation of public policies in Brazil. So that's their main mission, and no matter the government, it should be something that keeps on. So it's currently benchmarked in quality of data treatment and processing in high volumes of data, and they manage 8% of the Brazilian GPD per year from pensions and other social weights. And on this case, we also focus a lot on big data and NoSQL because as one could imagine, of billions of data and mixed informations, how could Dataprev identify if that citizen is eligible or not for this benefit? So they used big data and NoSQL, and on our paper we did a literature review on big data and NoSQL as well as part of our contribution with this article, also for other research. So the term big data emerged to describe huge data assets, which are precisely what we are handling on what Dataprev had to handle on this case. It includes masses of unstructured data and real-time analysis that generate opportunities for discoveries. To handle all that, the ordinary relational database are not enough. So NoSQL database can handle these large, complex variety and constantly changing data sets. So that's very appropriate for handle big data applications. And the use of such technologies was fundamental for Dataprev to manage and integrate those all those data on the emergency aid application. So on our paper, we make a quick overview around SQL and NoSQL database. So in the article, we present on this level of detail the comparison around relational and non-relational database. And on the context of emergency aid, both are relevant, as we're gonna see. So the methodology to cover this this initiative was the participant observation. So we had an active participation of a member of the IT department from Dataprev involved on the planning and implementation analysis of the emergency aid program on our as a researcher on our team. So the emergency aid architecture was designed to enable simultaneous data consumption for relational and NoSQL database, granting integrity and response time flexibility. And its data lake combined 23 different databases from public administration, including federal public administration, states, municipality, judiciary, and to guarantee the number of the expected number of simultaneous access to the application. It was structured in a responsive React front end with REST, Java REST backend, Oracle WebLogic, and Redis NoSQL memory database. So this conceptual model displays the flow of data. So it got 23 data sources from both internal and external Dataprev data. And as a matter of fact, in this moment, it's already 43 databases, 21 including criminal records, legal servants, scholarship holders. So normally those data are not combined. They are very split throughout the government ministries. And then Hadoop serves as a master data model in order to implement governance rules after data handling to guarantee both audit and logs. So it makes this ETL function. And after that, the current Ministry of Citizenship rules can identify who of those citizens are eligible based on this clean and treated database. So they homologate the list. And finally, the payment is deployed through a digital bank account at Caixa Econômica, that is an state bank. And every eligible citizen gets a free digital bank account to receive the payments. And finally, the results are stored in a NoSQL Redis base in order to support a high volume of access. In fact, more than 1 million access happened during the first hour of the release of the app, and more than 80 million access in the first 7 days. So the application achieved this 500 simultaneous access on the day of the launch. Actually, in less than 5 days, 21 millions had made to with a response time of less than 1 second. So that shows the infrastructure capabilities to handle such amount of data and also simultaneous access. So it was this benefit was requested by 125 million Brazilian citizens and approved to 67, almost 68 million citizens. So it represents actually 32% of the country's population. And finally, the emergency aid program was developed in only 14 days and prevented more than 20 million Brazilians from returning to extreme poverty during last year. this application enabled the largest financial resource transferring for the most vulnerable population in Brazil. It was 265 million reais, almost a billion reais, sorry. It's almost 50 billion USD dollars in income distribution. So the also a highlight over here is that the quick solution present by Dataprev using those big data capabilities highlights the effective of having a neutral and effective IT governance. So no matter the government, the IT capabilities were there. So it's also a good it's a suggestion of trending technology to foster and enable social policies around the world. Thank you.
Yes,